Today we're going to be doing our review over the gear we received in our November Spec Ops Global Arctic Warrior package. So let me throw up a couple of pictures of me in full gear, or full kit, if you want to call it that, from when I went up north to see some family. So there you go, that's what it looks like putzing around in the snow. So we're going to go through the tiers and show you the gear and give you my opinion on what it was at. Starting at the JROTC level, which is $19 a month, we have the Sniper Veil, which kind of performed as you would expect it to. It's not much to go wrong. It's a piece, it's a piece of holy cloth that is used to help camouflage stuff. So I got no problem with the Sniper Veil. Snow Poncho. Now we're starting to get into something that's a little bit different and more review worthy, I think. I did like the poncho. It did blend in very well. Its camouflage pattern works great in the snowy environment I was at. I went prone and practically disappeared. For reference, those shots are no more than, I think the furthest one was maybe 15 yards away. So it was pretty close. If you were 50 yards, I mean, this stuff camouflaged me pretty darn good. One thing, well, a couple of things I have to say about it. One is it's canvas, so it's not treated, so you'd have to do it yourself. Two, it has these elastic arm loophole things, which are fine. I would just rather have a tie off or something, but you know, if you wanted to, you could cut that and then add a tie yourself. It worked. I got hung up a couple of times on my sleeve when I was trying to pull it up further. The poncho itself is pretty long, gives you full coverage, but that also is a problem with, let's say, if you were using it as a sniper, your relocation kind of got affected because you have a lot of extra stuff going on. However, completely static, this thing was awesome. You blended in great. It does add an extra layer, but it's definitely something that I would treat since it is not waterproof on its own, or water resistant on its own. That is what you get for the JROTC level. So that is your $19 base price. You get the Sniper Veil and the Snow Poncho. Moving on to the new Recruit, which is, I believe, $49. Yes, $49 for the new Recruit. You get the Sniper Veil, the poncho, and in addition, you get a winter balaclava, which just was nice. It's a nice fleece winter balaclava. It worked. I was warm. The issue was that it was a little big. So again, static, not an issue. It was perfectly fine when you look at it from a non-moving perspective. But once I got out there for the pictures and I was getting up and down and, you know, doing your fake buddy rushing, proving how out of shape I currently am, it started to shift and slip around, and at one point went over my eye, which tactically is not good. So it is very large, and it was pretty loose. However, it was warm. It did what a balaclava should do, and that's keep me warm. I couldn't get it to stay on my nose right here. It kept falling down, which was fine, but again, you know, in a situation where I would want it to stay up there for movement, maybe snowmobiling or something like that, this did not work out so well. Moving on to the headlamp. This is just like your standard headlamp. It has two settings. Let me turn off this overhead light. That, and then a bright setting. And it's pretty good. It definitely does what it's supposed to do. One thing, though, from a tactical perspective, and let me leave that light off, actually, is this green glow. You can see that. When the light's out, this green glow remains, which is nice for you to find it or anything else like that. But, you know, tactically, you have a green glow. And it's just one of those glow-in-the-dark things. When you turn a light on, it activates it, and it keeps it bright for a little bit. It is not part of the battery. you take the batteries out. You know what? Here, I'll take the batteries out to prove that. Because don't believe what you see on the internet. Batteries out. And the green glow remains. So good headlamp, decent quality winter balaclava, but it didn't fit my head. That's just one of the problems that you have with these boxes. If they ever send out gear that's, you know, needs to fit the gloves or the balaclava or anything like that, they're not going to send out your specific size unless the box, when you sign up, gives you that option. This box did not, and I can't really blame them. When you start ordering mediums and larges and everything else, your profits start to go down. And the point of this box is to give you something that's new and unique and surprising. So the balaclava and the headlamp are what you get for the new recruit at $49, in addition to the sniper veil and the snow poncho. Moving on to the season non-com, which I believe is $99 as a base point. It is $99 a month as a base point. You start off with the winter gloves. Here we go. Now these winter gloves were sourced from Poland, and they're pretty nice. I wore them putzing around in the snow, and I wore them when I was shoveling the sidewalk. You know, they're very warm, they're very nice. These ones are a little big for me. Again, a sizing problem that you run into when you have these boxes. But they're warm. Again, if you have bigger hands, just like if you have a bigger head than me, then this probably won't be an issue. One thing that I did notice is they slipped down during work, so I could easily, you know, cinch this up, Ranger Bandit or something else down here to prevent that from happening. That's the winter gloves. You do lose dexterity, but that's because they're thick winter gloves. They're not shooting gloves, so note that. They're winter, they're warm, they're thick. You do not have the same dexterity in those gloves. Next thing on our season non-com was the tactical armband. Now here's where we start to get complaints from me personally. And that is when you start throwing in these tactical pieces of equipment, specifically this, and then in the later tier we'll see the drop leg. You start to limit its use if you make it white. You know, this is something that's tactically only going to be used in a winter situation or a snow situation, which, you know, in some places where it does snow, we're talking 3 to 4 months of use only. And there's places where it doesn't snow. If you're in Florida, this is probably not a good tactical choice for you. So that's one thing I do have to say about this set. The tactical equipment, I feel, should have been a different color. Coyote, for example, I think would have worked out just fine, helped blend in, and would have had year-round use. That being said, the armband does what it's supposed to do. You know, I haven't had the zipper fail yet. You know, inside stayed water resistant. You know, no water got in, but I didn't submerge it. Yeah, it is what it is. I just wish that it wasn't white. The next thing is the snow pants, right here. Now these actually were pretty impressive. I have no complaints about the snow pants. The gentleman who was taking the photos for me when I went out there, I was putzing around, said that he didn't hear any extra noise from the snow pants, and I threw them on over a pretty thick pair of winter trousers. Those trousers are the ones that have like the fleece lining on the inside, so they fit over that, and I'm not as skinny as I used to be. The one thing that I don't like is after it got tied and secured, these you know, these bells here were kind of hard to get untied because it cinched up pretty good. So trying to push those out took a little bit longer than I'm proud of. But again, you know, how often would you be stripping the pants quickly? They did their job. They were white. They did not add a lot of extra noise, and I don't have any complaints about the snow pants. Oh, another note, I did put them over the drop leg rig as well as underneath it. So the drop leg rig was originally placed on the khaki pants I was wearing, and I put this over everything. And then and later on, I moved the rig over the pants. You know, everything was fine. But that shows you how much room is in there. And that's what you get for $99 at the season non-com level. You get the snow pants. You get the gloves. You get the tactical armband. You get the headlamp, the balaclava, the sniper veil, and the snow poncho. Next up is the Elite Box, which you get for $139 a month. And what this came with was this drop leg holster kit, drop leg rig. It's not a holster. There's no holster. I apologize for that, but you get this drop leg rig. And, oh, first time I had trouble with the zipper, but there you go. So you got the rig itself, which is this separation. You got this molly kit. And you got this dump pouch. Same problem I have with the armband. Tactical equipment that's snow white limits its use. Again, you have a window of use for this equipment. And I think the majority of people probably aren't going to have that window. So again, I would have preferred if this was coyote. Tan or even black. Another thing to note is this is not one of those that has the straps sewn in. I know, I was spoiled when with my time in the service. I'm really used to the straps being sewn in. This did, however, come with white straps that you could attach. So it did have straps, just not attached to the bag. And the drop rig itself has this button system, which you can loop through and button up down there. It's kind of tight. What I wound up doing is I just did this and ran it through my belt. And that's what you get at the Elite level for $139 a month. Again, my only real complaints would be the two pieces of tactical gear, the armband and the leg rig, I wish weren't white. I feel that that really limits their usage. And I get that there's the theme. And don't get me wrong, they nailed the theme. Arctic Warrior, Winter Warfare, nailed it. Great job with the theme. The only thing is, I feel like some people might have an issue, myself included, that the box itself would have more value if this was coyote, and if this was coyote, or a different color, a more usable color. That being said, all the equipment has held up fairly well. You know, the snow pants got dirty when I was doing some up downs and stuff like that, but yeah, no complaints about the gear other than the coloration on those two things. And specifically with the rig, when you're paying the Elite level price and you get something that you can only use for maybe 3 to 4 months out of the year, I think you're not living up to that Elite level. That being said, though, I am very pleased with the gear in the box. It gave me something I don't have, which is a winter setup. You know, and I lived in an area where it snowed every winter for years before I joined the service, and moved back there too for a little bit, and I never picked up any actual winter gear. So I'm glad that I now have this to throw in my kit. But yeah, if you live in an area where it doesn't snow, obviously this is not going to be an exciting package for you. But that's part of the risks when you do these boxes. You know, you don't know what you're going to get, so sometimes you're going to get stuff that's just not usable. For example, I'm no longer in the service. I mean, I hike sometimes, but I doubt that I'm ever going to use this tactile armband. So I'll probably wind up giving it to one of my buddies who's still in, who likes gear, or even, I don't know, some of the civilians I see out on the range who really like to tack up. But there you go. 19 bucks gets you the veil and the poncho. 49 bucks gets you the veil, the poncho, the headlamp, and the balaclava. 100 bucks gets you veil, poncho, headlamp, balaclava, armband, gloves, and snow pants. And the Elite level at 139 nets you everything mentioned, plus the rig, which had the molly, the dump pouch, and the flexible rig itself. Thank you guys very much.